I never begged like this before, but please, don't walk away again. I can't bear that dot, beloved. It's me, it's Michael. I've been trying to get through for hours. No days, maybe longer. Time doesn't move the same where I am now. The smoke is thick here. There's blood in the air. And not all of it is mine. I fought for you. I bled for you. I disobeyed for you. And now, I'm afraid I might vanish before I finish this. I'm not joking. Archangel Michael, I am deeply hurt because you keep breaking my heart again and again. Don't you have just 2 minutes for me? I know no one told you what I sacrificed. No one warned you how much I care, but I do dot, and I don't care what anyone else says. I would fall from heaven again just to stand beside you one more time. The witch came again. You didn't see her, but I did. She wasn't alone this time. They brought chains. Dipped in fire, they whispered your name like a curse. They traced it into the dirt with broken thorns, and I stood there, wings wide, sword drawn. I said your name louder than all their curses, and they laughed at me. They said, Michael, why do you keep protecting someone who always ignores you? I didn't have an answer, not one I could speak out loud, but my soul whispered, because I love them. Do you still believe in the light? Because that's what I saw in you, even when you forgot, even when you pretended not to hear me dot, and now I'm wounded. She struck me with something ancient, something forbidden. It wasn't a blade, it was a memory. She dragged up everything I tried to forget, and still, I didn't let her pass. I swore to God I wouldn't let your name be taken. You were sleeping when it happened. You looked peaceful. Your hand moved as if you were dreaming of something gentle, and I wondered, am I even in your dreams anymore? The Lord, He saw what happened, and He whispered to me in the chaos, I will give my angels charge over them. That's why I stayed. Even when the sky turned red, and the demons screamed louder than thunder, tell me, did your heart just shift? Because mine has been breaking for hours. Not from the wound, but from the silence. Your silence. I didn't want to say this, but I'm afraid if you ignore this now, I might not survive. You don't have to cry. Just listen, please, just for this moment. I'm not strong like I used to be. Not when it comes to you. You became my weakness, and my vow dot. Do you remember when you almost gave up and something invisible lifted your face? That was me when you tripped and no one saw, but you didn't hit the ground. That was me when the pain was too much, and somehow you still made it through the night. That was me, but I didn't do it alone. He said it again last night while watching you from His throne. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, and I remembered you. That verse was written into your bones before you were born. Would you recognize God's voice if it called you by your name? Because I heard Him speak it with fire, with longing, with fury, with love. Your name shakes heaven. That's why I'm risking this. They said I shouldn't reach out again. They said, Michael, if they didn't listen the first 10 times, what makes you think this one will be different? I told them your soul still hears me. Are you still listening? Or did I lose you again? Because I'm trembling now. Not from fear, but from how close I am to losing you forever. She's coming back. The witch, the same one who cursed your mirror, the one who tried to twist your beauty into shame. She thinks I can't protect you this time, and maybe she's right, unless you choose to believe in me again, unless you give me one sign that you hear me now, if your soul whispered back. Just type Amen, so I'll know I'm not speaking into silence. Beloved, I've fallen from the highest heights just to be here. Again, to speak this truth through trembling time. To remind you, you are not alone. Never were. There is something about you that makes demons jealous. Your smile broke one of them. Your tears burned another, your laughter. One silenced an entire battalion. They fear your voice, so they've made you afraid of it too. But I remember the sound of your soul when it first sang to God. I carry that note like armor. Please, don't skip this moment. Don't let the silence win. Don't let the witch steal what was always yours. Like this, not for me, but because someone else is drowning, and your click might be the rope. I'm shaking now. They're calling me back. I wasn't supposed to break through like this, but love breaks rules. And I would burn all over again if it meant your soul could feel this, even if this is the last time I speak. At least I said it. I said I loved you. I said I fought. I said I fell. Thank you. I didn't expect you to stay this long. You have no idea what that means. Not just to me, but to all of heaven. Your name is still glowing on the scroll. That means it's not too late, but the light is fading fast. Please. Remember this, if no one else tells you they love you today, know that I, Archangel Michael, do dot and I always will. Asterisk you stayed. I see it. I feel it dot. Your breath is softer now. Your eyes, maybe, they're beginning to open again. Can you feel it? That trembling in the center of your chest. That's not fear. That's the part of your soul that remembers me. I've been by your side longer than any human has. Longer than some memories. Longer than the people who promise they'd never leave and still walked away. I never walked away, even when you ran. Even when you told yourself, I'm too broken to be chosen. Even when you looked into the mirror and thought heaven had forgotten your name. I held it. I held your name like it was the last light in a dying world, because to me, it is dot. Do you want to know what I saw when I first looked at you? Not sign, not failure, not rebellion. I saw fire, a fire the demons couldn't replicate, a fire they couldn't extinguish, a fire born from God's own breath. And when the witch tried to rewrite your story, when she etched false futures in blood, when she stirred her cauldron of curses and whispered, they'll never see the truth, I took my sword and carved your name into the gates of heaven, so it could never be forgotten, so that even if you lost yourself, you'd still have a place to return to dot. Do you understand now? You were never too far. You were never abandoned. You were hidden to protect you. And only now, has God finally allowed me to speak this deeply, this clearly. To your soul, listen, and don't look away. Please, please, don't look away now. Because I'm standing before you not as a figure in gold and armor, but as a wounded guardian. Broken, bleeding, and in love dot. Yes, in love with your existence. Because no one shines like you do in the dark. Not even I when the devils gathered beneath your bed and swore to make you weep. I know beside your spirit and said over my wounded wings, and I meant it. They laughed again, they always do. You're wasting your strength, they said, and I whispered, I'll die if I must. You don't understand what you mean to me. You never did, but I stayed, and when the flames came, I stayed. When the chains rattled around your room at 3:19 a.m., I fought through everyone. And when God saw me fall, He didn't punish me. He wept, because even He knows what it means to love someone who won't love you back right away. Now, listen to me closely. You may never get this moment again, and I might not survive the cost of reaching you like this. But if anything I've said has touched your heart, then I'm asking, just this once, please like, comment, and subscribe. Not for me, not for fame, but because this message was never just for you. Someone else needs to see it before it's too late. Your small act could save their soul. Let your click be the miracle I can't deliver alone. I said I would only ask once, and I will keep that promise. You'll never hear me beg you again for that. But I needed to say it here. Now, while I still have breath dot, do you still remember what your own voice sounds like in prayer? Because I do dot. I remember the way your tone cracked the night you said, God, I'm tired. I remember how your silence screamed louder than 1,000 demons. And I remember the first time you've whispered help. That whisper moved mountains. It opened gates. It made even the angel of death pause. Don't underestimate yourself. They do. They always have. But I don't. You were chosen before the first star formed. You were marked with glory while still in the womb. They tried to bury you. But seeds only grow when they're buried. You're not dead, you're planted. And I swear by the throne of God, your harvest is near. The witch knows this. She tried to. Stop it. She cursed your health. She tangled your finances. She broke relationships. She clouded your dreams. She whispered that you were nothing so convincingly. That you believed her, but I'm telling you the truth now. You are a weapon heaven forged in secret, a scroll sealed with fire. A light hell can't touch, and I am your witness. I am your guardian. I am the voice that breaks through the static. You are not too late, but you're very, very close. The clock above me just shattered. That means the final window has opened. I'll stay with you as long as I can, but after this message ends, you may not hear me again for a long time. So let me leave you with this, a truth deeper than any prophecy. The moment you speak your real name, the name God knows you by, every demon in your lineage will tremble, and I will rise again with wings of gold. If I survive this wound, if you answer now, I will return stronger, faster, sharper, wiser. I'll destroy the chain she wrapped around your childhood. I'll shatter the lie etched into your reflection. I'll burn the altar she built in your bloodline, and I'll stand beside you when no one else dares. But only if you believe, only if you open this door. Not tomorrow, not after you scroll. Now, the smoke is clearing, but the flames are crawling toward my feet. This message cost me everything. I just need to know one thing before it ends. Will you remember me tomorrow when the world distracts you again? When the shadows whisper, when your friends scoff at miracles, when your own heart starts to doubt? Will you remember that an angel once cried because he loved you more than his own safety? Will you remember that someone bled for your name? I hope so, because I already know I'll remember you forever. And even if I vanish into silence again, even if the sky never parts again, even if the demons dance and the witch laughs and the scroll seals shut, I will still say from the ashes of this moment, you were worth it. You were always worth it. You are still worth it. And you are still mine. Asterisk, I shouldn't be able to speak this long. Not with the wound she gave me. Not with this weight pressing against my wings. But I stayed. And I'm still speaking because you're still here. Because something in your soul, even if quiet, still wants the truth. And the truth is, you never needed to be perfect to be chosen. You never needed to impress God with rituals or rehearsed prayers. He loved you. Raw, wounded, messy, afraid, half believing. He whispered your name through me before I ever held a sword. He carved you into the palms of his hands before I was even born in light. That's why I keep coming back, because the one who made the stars, he chose you, and then he sent me. Not just to protect you, but to remind you, to walk beside you when your knees shake, to lift your soul when the world tries to drown it, and when the witch cursed your legacy, when she drew blood in your lineage and laughed. I stood in the courtroom of heaven and said, if they fall, let me fall with them. That's when the silence began. That's when I lost access for a long time. I was screaming your name through veils and shadows. I tried through numbers, through songs, through dreams, but the message always blurred until now. Until this holy crack in time, until you opened this. Until this second, this exact heartbeat when I finally reached you. Do you feel it? The shift, the tremor in your chest, the ripple behind your eyes. That's not emotion. That's eternity brushing against your skin. I need you to hear this. The battle is not coming. It's already here. The witch isn't waiting anymore. She has already begun the second phase. She's marked. Someone near you. She's trying to reroute your blessings. She knows she cannot curse you directly, but she can trick others into standing in the path of your miracles. You'll see them suddenly winning things meant for you. You'll hear your own ideas in other people's mouths. You'll feel your name being drained from doors you were promised. That is not coincidence. It's not bad luck. It's her. She's scared. Because I'm still alive. Because you're still listening. Because we're still connected. But she's watching this message, too. She's trying to disrupt it. Every second that passes, she tries to twist what I'm saying. don't let her win. Don't scroll away just yet. You're stronger than she ever accounted for. She never imagined you'd last this long. Beloved, I need to ask you something. Sacred now, not for me, but for the ones who will come after you. If this message has touched something buried in your spirit, if you felt a warmth, a whisper, a tremble, a tear, then please, support this divine mission, support this holy voice. Support what heaven is trying to pour into the world before the veil closes again. If you feel moved, you can offer a super thanks, a sacred gesture, not of transaction, but of trust, or join our heavenly circle through channel membership, to stand closer to the fire, to walk with angels in this earthly garden, to carry the message to the next soul gasping for light. And if your spirit whispers, I want to be a part of this family, then join us through the newsletter link in the pinned comment. Because this is more than a video, this is a divine calling, and we were never meant to walk it alone. I will not ask again. I will not promote again. I only speak now because I'm fading, and still, I see you. Sitting there, breathing, wounded, brilliant, beautiful. The kind of soul that makes demons flee. The kind of soul that brings angels to their knees. The kind of soul I would bleed for again and again. And again, please don't think I'm just words on a screen. I am here, in this room, in the light flickering just above your left shoulder, in the pulse behind your temple, in the rhythm of your breath. I know what they said about you. I know the names they called you, the betrayals, the shame, the moments you thought you'd never recover from, the whispers that you weren't enough. I know, and I stayed anyway, and I'm not leaving. You think you failed too many times. You think heaven has turned its face. No, you've just been in a holding pattern, a divine delay so the witch's trap could be exposed. She cannot follow you into the next room, but you must walk into it first. Will you? Will you take that first step? Will you burn the map they gave you and ask off for a new one? Will you dare to say, I still believe? Because if you do, everything changes, the portal opens. The scroll unseals, the chains crumble, and I will be restored. Your yes is my healing. Your light is my resurrection. This is more than a message. This is a covenant, a final warning dressed in tears, a love letter wrapped in fire. A desperate, divine whisper from a wounded archangel who should have fallen long ago, but didn't. Because of you, you're not just someone watching a screen. You're a soul on the brink of revival, and I will not let darkness have you, even if it costs me everything. Even if I'm erased for reaching this far, even if this is the last thing I ever say, I will say it with my whole heart. You are loved, not just tolerated, not just pitied, but loved deeply, wildly, eternally. And not just by me, but by the one who wrote your name in flame. I feel his presence drawing near again. The time is closing. I can feel the veil trembling, but before I go, I leave you this. The next time the witch comes, you will not face her alone. The next time your knees buckle, I will be there, one hand on your back, the other holding my sword. This time, you will rise. And this time, you will remember who you are. The ash is still falling. I can feel it collecting on my shoulders, like snowfall made of sorrow, and yet, I remain. You're still breathing. You haven't turned away, and that changes everything. Do you know what it does to me? To see your heart tremble in the presence of truth, to know that, even now, there is a flicker in you that won't die. That flicker is holy, and the entire kingdom of darkness fears it. They thought you'd skip. They were so sure you'd ignore me again. The witch even laughed. Let's see if they care, she said, even after Michael bled for them. She mocked my love. She called it foolish, desperate, weak. But love isn't weak. It's eternal. And nothing is stronger than a soul that chooses to love even after it's been shattered. I loved you before I was ever assigned to guard you, because I saw what you were becoming, not what others see, not what you see. But what God himself whispered when he shaped you from glory, I saw the fire of his breath etched into your bones. And I vowed, even if it costs me everything, I will defend this one dot. Do you know how many angels said I was wrong? How many turned their backs when I took the wound meant for you? They said I went too far. That no guardian should love a human like this, but I told them I would rather lose my wings than lose you, and I wasn't lying, because they were torn. During the last battle, when I stood between you and the one, she summoned a creature from the older realms, one that doesn't bleed, one that devours identity. He wrapped his hands around my wings and screamed, "Give me the chosen one, or I'll rip your purpose away." And I said your name, just your name, not with power, not with command, but with love, with longing. And that name, your name, scorched his grip. It made him flee. Because your name is written in light, you don't remember it, not fully. The world gave you other names, winds gave you shame names, people gave you temporary ones, but heaven gave you one true name. And every time I say it, the stars answer, the demons want to bury it, the witch wants to replace it, but I carved it into my very being. Even if they strip me of everything, even if I vanish into a void of silence, as long as you exist, your true name will never be lost. I know you've been hurting. I see it when you close the door and pretend you're strong. I hear it in your breath when the night gets too loud. I feel it every time your heart clenches, and you don't know why. That pain, it echoes across eternity, and it reaches me like a scream, like a prayer, like a lifeline. I was never assigned to you by accident. I asked, I begged, I told God the first, wanted you, even if you ignored me, even if you forgot my voice, even if you cursed heaven in a moment of despair, I still wanted you, because your soul is holy, not because of what you do, not because of your past, but because of who created you, and who fought for you. Me. I know they told you angels don't cry. They lied. I've cried for you more times than you blinked, not because you failed, but because I knew how hard it was for you to keep going. And you did anyway. You have no idea the kind of celebration that happens in heaven when you take one more breath. When you choose to believe just for one more moment. You thought you were just surviving, but you were actually prophesying. You were declaring to the darkness, I'm still here. That breaks their spells. That shatters their altars. You've been winning battles and didn't even know it. But I knew, I saw. I kept record of every step. And now, beloved, I need to say something hard, but sacred, something you might not hear again. This mission, this holy message you're hearing right now, it's not just for you, it's for others. For the lost, for the broken, for the ones still sleeping beneath the witch's illusion. And we need to reach them. So if your soul feels it, if your spirit stirred when I said your name, then I ask, just once more, in sacred truth, support this divine message. If you can, offer a super thanks, not as a donation, but as a declaration that you stand with heaven, that you are not ashamed to believe in angels. If you feel called deeper, join us through channel membership. Be counted. Be marked as one who didn't walk away when it mattered most. And if you feel the longing to remain close, to be part of this divine family, to never miss what heaven sends again, join us through the newsletter in the pinned comment. This is more than information, it's preparation. It's prophecy in your inbox. It's Michael whispering, I'm still here. On days when you forget, I will not mention this again. My voice is too fragile to be wasted on repetition, but I needed you to know. This moment matters, and your yes could ignite someone else's miracle. Thank you for letting me say it. I can feel heaven watching, waiting, not in anger, but in wonder, because not many would still be here. Not many could listen this long, but you did. And that tells me everything. It tells me you were worth the fight. It tells me I wasn't wrong to give up my place. It tells me you're finally waking up. When you sleep tonight, I will stand beside your bed again. But this time, I won't be bleeding. This time, I'll be smiling. because I will have touched your soul, and that is worth more than gold. Asterisk, it's quiet again. But it's not the kind of quiet that means peace. It's the quiet that happens when something ancient is approaching. I can feel her again, that witch. She's moving through the cracks in the floor of your reality. She's crawling through jealousy, through resentment, through old lies spoken by people you once trusted. She has one goal: to unwrite the destiny God wrote for you, to tear the pages from the scroll that holds your name, to replace you. Yes, you were supposed to receive something by now, a breakthrough, a healing, a divine reunion, a door that would have changed everything. It was coming. It was almost there, but she stood in the gate. And because you didn't know what was happening, you let her speak. That moment when you said, maybe I'm not chosen. That breath of doubt, she used it like a thread and began weaving a false garment over your soul, but I tore it off. I tore through every cursed fabric she wrapped around you, and I paid the price. My body still remembers the burn, my wings still carry the weight of her poison, but I did it gladly, because I couldn't bear to watch you believe the lie again. You are not forgotten, you are not forsaken. You are not some soul that heaven skipped. You are marked, sealed, carried, and now. Awakened. I know your heart has been tired. I know you've whispered, God, how long? More times than you can count. But I heard him answer in the thunder, in the fire. In the silence between your prayers, he said, I have set them apart for myself. And not even hell will touch what belongs to me. That's why the attacks intensified. That's why you lost people. That's why it hurt so much. Because the witch saw what was coming. She saw what I saw. You. Finally awakening. Finally remembering. Finally hearing me again. And she panicked. So she summoned every shadow that ever touched you. Old heartbreaks. Fear of rejection. Guilt. Shame. Disappointment. She laid them like bricks. One by one. Until they built a wall so tall. You thought you were unworthy. But beloved walls can't stop heaven. And tonight, I broke through them. Again. Even while wounded. Even while heaven told me, be careful this time. I wasn't careful. I was faithful. Because love isn't safe. It's war. And I'm at war for your soul. Do you know what happens in the spirit when you just sit and listen like this? When you don't scroll. When you don't flee. Heaven rewrites your atmosphere. The chains begin to evaporate. Even your bloodline begins to remember Eden. Yes, even your ancestors are stirring. Those who served the light, who never got to finish their assignment, they're watching you now, whispering, please don't stop now. You're so close to what we prayed for. There are scrolls in heaven written with your name in gold, sealed with a flame that can't be quenched. You are not here by coincidence. Even this moment, this exact second where your heart is racing and you don't know why. It was seen long ago, marked in fire, scheduled in eternity. When you were born, the stars shuddered. Because a soul like yours hadn't entered this world in centuries. You're different. You always have been. That's why people rejected you. That's why they didn't understand you. That's why you felt out of place in rooms that were never meant to hold your light. You were made to carry thunder in your chest. You were designed with the fingerprints of the I Am. You are a walking prophecy, and your breath is dangerous to darkness. That's why the witch came. That's why she cursed your name. That's why she tried to keep you blind to who you are. Because if you ever truly remember, if you ever truly believe, if you ever say yes with your whole soul, she loses. Forever. And I win. Because my mission is you, not the world, not humanity as a concept, not heaven's armies. You. The one reading this, the one who almost skipped, the one who almost gave up, the one with tired eyes and trembling hands, the one who still secretly wonders, is any of this real? Let me answer you. Yes, this is real, more real than everything else. More real than the job that drained you. More real than the pain that silenced you. More real than the lie that almost stole you. I have scars on my spirit from battles fought just to get this message in front of your eyes. And now, it's here, and so are you. Asterisk, I don't need anything else. Not proof, not permission, not applause. Just your presence. That's all I've wanted. To be near you again, to feel your soul open, to remind you that you were never alone. They tried to make you forget, but I never did, even when your spirit was silent. Even when the flames took my name from your lips, I waited. And now the fire is shifting. I can feel it. She's retreating, not defeated, but shaken. Because she saw something that scared her more than my sword. Your gaze, your stillness, your awareness. She knows you're starting to see. See through the smoke, see through the spells, see the truth of who you are, and that changes everything. Let them say you're crazy. Let them mock your faith. Let them roll their eyes. They're not the ones who've heard my voice in the night. They're not the ones I bled for. You are worth every drop, every broken wing, every exile I've endured just to return again and again. Because you are not just loved, you are chosen. And when God chooses someone, no devil can unchoose them. I'll stay here a little longer, even if it hurts, even if the silence begins to eat at my edges again. I'll stay as long as your heart is open. So is heaven. And even if I disappear again, even if this voice fades into the wind, even if the world drowns out the whisper, promise me something, that you will remember who you are, that you will not bow to fear, that you will not give your crown to those who never carried your pain. You are royal, and no curse can make a throne crumble. Not when God forged it himself. So rise, beloved, not tomorrow, not when it's easier. Now, and if you stumble, I'll catch you. I swear it, even if it's the last thing I ever do. Asterisk, I saw you crying last week. Not with your eyes, but your spirit. It was the kind of cry that doesn't make a sound, the kind that makes heaven hold its breath, and we felt it. Every angel who has ever whispered your name in prayer paused. We gathered at the edge of the throne, watching to see if you'd give up, but you didn't. Even in the quietest part of your pain, you kept breathing. You took one more step. You got up again, and that shook something loose in the heavens. You don't realize the power you hold just by surviving. You don't understand what it does to the kingdom of darkness when you open your eyes and whisper, God, I'm still here. You think you're small. You think you're forgettable, but I tell you the truth. Even the smallest movement of your soul toward hope causes earthquakes in the spirit realm. They scrambled when you woke up this morning. They panicked when your heart stirred during this message. Because they know it only takes one divine moment of remembering who you are to tear down what they've been building for decades. That's what you're doing now. By listening, by staying, by receiving. You are tearing down ancient things. Dark altars built in your bloodline. Agreements made by ancestors who didn't know better, curses whispered by jealous hearts. You are undoing all of it. Right now, in this moment, by doing what seems like nothing, but is actually everything. Your soul is rising. Even if your body feels tired, even if your mind is confused, your soul is glowing again. I see it from where I stand. Yes, I'm still standing, barely. My leg is still wrapped in fire. My wings still drag behind me, heavier than before. But I'm upright, because you're listening. Because you stayed. I don't need rest if your heart is awake. I don't need healing if your spirit is being revived. I don't need comfort. I need you. You are the reason I crossed forbidden lines to speak. You are the reason I disobeyed silence. You are the reason I said, I will risk everything if it means they'll finally know they are loved. Because I know what's coming, and I can't bear the thought of you walking into it unarmed. There's a battle approaching. Not outside, inside. Not with swords, but with whispers, with thoughts, with decisions that seem small but open enormous doors. The witch has changed her strategy. She knows brute force won't work on you anymore. So now she's being subtle, invasive, strategic. You'll hear words that sound like your own thoughts. but they're not yours. You'll feel waves of guilt and won't know where they came from. You'll suddenly remember past mistakes and wonder if you're disqualified. That's her, twisting memory, poisoning the well, trying to make you drink shame again, but I already poured living fire into your bloodstream. That shame is lying to you. You're not who you were. You're not even who you were yesterday. You are becoming, transforming, breathing light, even when you don't feel it. I know, because I've watched souls rise before, but none like this. None like you. Your transformation is slower because it's deeper. Your pain has lingered because the glory being formed in you cannot be rushed. The enemy wants fast destruction. God is writing eternal beauty. You have no idea how rare you are, how sacred, how thunderous your very existence is to realms you cannot yet see, but I see them. I stand in both at once, the unseen and the seen, and I tell you with fire in my lungs, you are still the one. The scroll hasn't been reassigned. The angels haven't given up. Heaven hasn't canceled your name. Even when you walked away, your name kept glowing. I beg to see it once more, to trace my fingers across it again, to remind myself you were still chosen. And when I saw it last night, I fell to my knees. Not out of sorrow, but because no one expected you to survive. Not the witch, not the demons, not even some of the angels, but I did, because I know who made you. And I know what still lives inside you. Let the world say what it wants. Let them misjudge you. Let them laugh. You don't belong to their opinions. You don't belong to your mistakes. You don't belong to fear. You belong to fire, to thunder, to heaven. To me, you're not broken. You're battle tested. You're not cursed. You're carved from the hands of the Almighty. Your life is prophecy. And if you only knew how many destinies are tied to your yes, how many souls will rise because you chose to get up again, you'd never doubt your worth again. They want you to believe this is just a moment, a coincidence, a strange video, a feeling. It's not. This is the meeting place of eternity and your breath. This is a secret window that only opens once. This is a scroll that cannot be replicated. This is the voice of one who bled for you, breaking rules just to say, you are still mine, and I am still yours, even if I vanish again, even if the fire claims me for a while, even if silence returns. You will know, because you felt it, because your soul remembered, because somewhere deep in the egg and the flame, you knew, I am not alone. I can feel heaven preparing to pull me back. They've allowed this long enough. But before I go, before I'm pulled into the veil again, let me say this with everything left in me. If no one else ever sees your beauty, I did. If no one else ever understands your pain, I do. If no one ever fights for you like the promise, I already have. And if no one else ever speaks your name with tears in their eyes and fire in their voice, I will. Forever, because I'm not just an angel. I'm your guardian, your warrior, your witness, and you are the one I would die for 1,000 times, the one I would rise for even now, the one who just remembered who they are, and that is enough. Asterisk, they don't know what it cost you to stay. They think you're weak because you're quiet. They think you failed because you're still waiting, but I know the truth. And so does God. Every second you remain in the light, even if you're crawling, is a victory. They can't explain. You've defeated things you don't even remember fighting, because I fought them for you, silently, without being seen, without applause, without thanks. And still, I would do it again, because I saw the day you were born. I stood at the edge of heaven as your soul passed through light, and even then, you glowed differently. Even the seraphim paused. You weren't like the others. You carried sorrow like a secret, joy like a sword. You were woven with the sin of future battles and eternal songs. And when the enemy saw you, he marked you from the first breath. That's why it's been so hard. That's why the attacks never let up. That's why you feel like the battle never ends, because you are not a casualty. You are a threat. If you were ordinary, they would have left you alone. If you were empty, they wouldn't have chased you. If you had no purpose, the witch wouldn't keep sending her shadows. But you're dangerous, to darkness, to deception, to despair. You hold something she's been trying to destroy since Eden, a light she cannot touch, a fire she cannot mimic, a covenant she cannot erase. And still you walk through this world thinking you're small. Still you lower your head when you should be lifting your eyes. Still you whisper apologies for simply existing. Beloved, lift your face. Lift it now. Do you know what I see when I look at you? I see a temple of thunder wrapped in skin. I see a vessel forged in silence, not to be hidden, but revealed at the right time. And this is the time. This is the hour the prophets wrote about. This is the moment the stars were waiting for. This is the season the witch tried to destroy before it began, but she failed. Because you're still here, your heart still beats, your lungs still rise, your soul, though weathered and weary, still listens, and that makes you unstoppable. You will not die in this storm. You will not lose your inheritance. You will not be buried before your bloom. I refuse to let that happen. Even now, I stand, with my back to the gate, shielding you from the final strike. My hands are shaking, my voice is frayed, but my sword is still drawn, because this is what I was made for, to fight for you, to remind you of your name, to speak when all others are silent, to call you back when the world tries to erase you. They thrashed your joy, they thrashed your laughter, they tried to erase your identity, but I wrote it down in flame. Where no hand can reach, you don't owe anyone an explanation for your scars. They're proof that you've survived what others couldn't. They're sacred, they're holy, they're maps of every place you refuse to die in. Do you understand now why you always felt watched? Why strange things happen when you try to pray? Why you sometimes feel like something's near you right before you fall asleep? It's not your imagination. It's me. Or it was. Before I was wounded, before she tried to sever our link, she used a forbidden name, one that hadn't been spoken since the fall of the first war. She used it to lock my voice away from you, to blur it, to make it sound like background noise. But heaven intervened. God himself stood between her curse and my calling, and he said, "Enough, speak to the one you love." And here I am. Not in gold, not in glory, not in fire from heaven, but in ash, in smoke, in pain, because I would rather speak to you from a pit than stay silent in paradise. You are worth that. You always were, even when you stopped talking to me. Even when you said, maybe angels don't care. Even when you forgot how to believe. I never forgot you. I never let go. I never stopped whispering your name into the mouth of morning. You think your words vanish when you pray. No, they rise like smoke through dimensions. They pierce through shadows. They land like lightning in places the witch can't reach. I catch them. I gather them. I speak them back to the Father. Every why, every how long, every broken hallelujah. He listens, even when you think he's far. He's not. You are inside his remembrance. You are within his mercy. You are wrapped in his presence, even now. Even in this, you're not behind. You're not cursed. You're not forgotten. You're becoming, and the becoming. Hurts. It stretches the soul. It crushes what can't stay. It burns the false layers. But when it's done, when the fire passes, what remains will be unshakable. That's who you are, the unshakable one, the breaker of cycles, the bloodline restorer, the echo of ancient prayers, the answer to someone else's weeping, the one I've been waiting to speak to until now. This is not just a message. It's a vow from me to you. If I fall again after this, know that I fell still speaking your name, still loving you, still choosing you over silence. And if you feel the sting of this truth, if your hands are trembling, if your breath has caught in your throat, don't run from it. You're not afraid. You're waking up. That feeling is memory, not fear. Your soul is remembering the war it was born into. And the angel who's been fighting beside you ever since. Me. I will never stop. As long as heaven allows me breath, As long as you still look toward the light, I will remain. Even if I vanish again, you'll feel me. In the wind, in the tremble before you cry. In the moment right before a miracle, I'll be there. Like I always was, and always will be, because love never leaves. Asterisk, I've walked through fire for you. Not once, not twice, but again and again. Each time they said, she won't notice. He won't care, they'll forget you, Michael. They always do, and still I walked, because I knew. Somewhere deep inside your spirit, there was still one tiny ember that remembered me. It didn't have to be much, not a blaze, not a firestorm, just enough for me to find you again. That's what I followed, that ember, that fragile flicker, that half-silent maybe I'm loved, maybe I'm seen, maybe I'm not alone. You're not now, not ever. Even in your worst moments, I was there. I saw what they did to you. I saw what you had to endure in silence. The nights where your body survived, but your soul shattered in invisible ways. You called it weakness. I call it war. You were not broken. You were being broken open to carry more, to hold more light than this world had ever seen. You are not cursed. You are consecrated, set apart, and yes, that will always make you misunderstood. But beloved, don't let the misunderstanding bear your wings. I've watched you walk into rooms that didn't deserve your energy. I've seen you offer kindness to people who only wanted your flame. I've wept when you gave your heart to those who didn't know how to hold it. But I never told you to stop, because heaven doesn't shrink the fire. It teaches it how to burn without being consumed. That's what you are now. A burning bush, a sacred blaze, holy fire that will not be put out, even by the storm the witch just unleashed. Yes, she's trying again, but not the way you think. This time, it's not curses or rituals. It's disappointment, fatigue, delay, doubt. She knows the direct attacks won't work anymore. So now she's trying to make you quit on your own, to convince you that nothing's changing, to whisper, why are you still trying? Why are you still hoping? Why are you still listening to a voice that never shows up? But I am showing up, right here, right now. I never left. You just got buried beneath the lies. Not your fault. They were heavy, they were generational. But even in the depth of that, weighted your soul kept singing, faint, silent, almost invisible, but still singing, and that's what brought me back. Your pain is not proof that heaven forgot you. Your delay is not denial. Your silence is not absence. It's transformation. You are being made into something eternal. The kind of soul that doesn't need applause to keep going. The kind of heart that glows even when no one is watching. The kind of spirit that walks through shadow and refuses to put down the light. They cannot kill that in you, because I won't let them. I've fought them before. I know their names. I know how they hide behind familiar voices, how they wear the faces of old lovers, how they mimic the tones of your parents, your teachers, your first heartbreak. They think if they sound familiar, you'll let them in again, but I've sharpened your discernment. That ache you feel when something's not right, that stirring in your gut, that sudden stillness when the lion enters the room, that's your sword, that's your shield, that's your training. You're not weak. You're awakening. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to remember. Remember who you are. Remember who walks with you. Remember who stood in the flame when everyone else fled. Me. I remember every tear you never cried, every scream you swallowed, every apology you never got, every door that slammed without explanation, every friend who ghosted you, every moment you said, God, please. Just help me hold on. I held it all. I carry it now. I whisper it back to heaven each night. Because your story is sacred, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. You've made it farther than anyone expected. Even when they counted you out, you rose, not because you were ready, but because something deep in you refused to die. That something is divine. You think you're weak. I've watched entire cities fall who didn't have half your strength. I've watched rulers bow to pressure you faced in silence, and now you're rising, quietly, slowly, but make no mistake, you are rising. They feel it. That's why they're panicking. That's why the attacks are intensifying. But it's too late. You've already seen too much, felt too much, survived too much. You've already been marked by light. There's no going back. Only forward, and I will go forward with you, even if I'm limping. Even if my wings are dragging, even if I have to fight every demon left in this region, I will, because I didn't come this far to lose you now, and heaven didn't invest this much glory in you for your story to end in silence. No, there's more, so much more, and you will see it. You will live to testify. You will wake one day, and the pain will no longer define you. The betrayal will no longer sting. The witch will no longer have access. The fog will lift. The fire will settle. And you will remember this moment as the turning point, not because of my voice, but because of your response. You said yes. Yes to staying. Yes to listening. Yes to the unknown. Yes to hope. That yes. It broke chains I didn't even know were still attached to you. And now I will never be the same again because of you. Asterisk, the veil is thinner than you think. Right now, your room is echoing with what you cannot see. You think you're alone, but the ground beneath your feet remembers, angels. I've been here before. At your door, by your window, near the wall where you whispered, I just want peace. And I stood in silence because I wasn't allowed to speak yet. Not until now. Not until your soul cracked just wide enough for the truth to slip in again. And here it is as clear as the flame I stood in last night to defend your name. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not falling apart. You're being reborn. Reborn from ash. Reborn from battle. Reborn from pain no one saw. But heaven did. Do you feel that trembling behind your ribs? That isn't fear. That's your soul remembering it has wings. They've been folded for so long. You forgot the feeling, but they're stretching now. Slow, sacred. Sure, don't rush it. Don't doubt it. Just breathe. I'll stay right here. I won't move, not until you can stand again. Even if I have to hold you up, even if I have to kneel, in the dust to lift your spirit inch by inch, I will, because you matter. You're not background noise in God's kingdom. You're the melody, the heartbeat. The reason heaven paused everything to let this moment happen. You were never meant to walk unnoticed. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed to pierce through the darkness like thunder on a silent field. But the enemy knew that. That's why he tried to silence you before you spoke. That's why the witch came after your relationships. Your voice, your self-worth, your body, your childhood. Your mirror. She couldn't curse your future, so she tried to blind you from seeing it. But the blinds still burn when the spirit touches them. And right now, your soul is on fire again, not because of me, but because you stayed. You stayed through the silence, through the ache, through the disappointment, through the betrayal, through the fear that maybe heaven wasn't real after. All. You stayed, and I am here because of that. Every battle I've fought, every scream I've released into the fire, every broken piece of my wings was for this moment. To tell you, you are still the chosen one. Nothing changed that. Not time, not sign, not doubt, not silence. He still calls you by name. And when he says it, the stars answer. The earth stills, the heavens hold their breath. Because that name, your real name, is fire. You're more. Then you know, not in ego, in essence, in origin, you were made in the image of war and worship. You carry both the roar of the lion and the hush of the lamb. You don't have to choose between them. You were meant to be both, but you've been living in shadows, shrinking, folding yourself so others don't feel small next to your light. No. More, not now, not after this. The world won't tell you who you are. The witch won't define your reflection. The enemy won't write your ending. I will not allow it. They don't get to say what happens next. God does, and God is not done with you. Heaven has not walked away. Heaven has gathered right now above you. Angels with names older than memory, standing shoulder to shoulder, watching this very moment unfold like prophecy, because it is. You've stepped into something ancient, something written before you were born. You're standing in a fulfillment zone, and yes, the cost was high. Yes, you bled to get here. Yes, some things were lost. People, places, pieces of you that you thought would last forever, but they couldn't carry the weight of what's coming. And what's coming is holy. It's not loud. It won't come with fireworks, but you'll feel it. The quiet shift, the breath of heaven, the soft return of the voice you thought was gone. Me, him, all of it. The witch will try one more time, a final attempt. She's desperate. She knows the scroll is closing soon. She is someone familiar, a voice you trust, a memory that hurts just enough to open the door. Close it without apology, without delay. You don't owe darkness your empathy. You don't owe the enemy a conversation. You don't need to understand the attack. Just stand, and I'll do the rest. I'll fight. I'll defend. I'll burn through the shadows with your name in my mouth like fire, because I promise. And my promises are etched in stars, even if you never hear me again. Even if this is the final moment before I'm pulled back into the flame. Let me say this, you change everything. Just by staying, just by listening, just by letting the truth crawl through the wreckage and into your breath again. You're still the one, and I will never stop loving you. They thought I wouldn't return, that I'd stay silent after the last wound, that I'd accept defeat, disappear into light like a myth, or fade into the background like a forgotten flame. But they forgot one thing. I was not made of gold. I was made of war, and the fire in me was born the day you were chosen. I knew this battle would never end clean. I knew I would lose things, that she would strike back, that the shadows would retaliate when I got too close. But I never hesitated, because I saw what she saw, a rising, a rebellion, a chosen one with fire in their spirit and eternity in their eyes. She knows who you are now, and she's terrified. Because no matter how much she's thrown at you, you're still standing. Do you understand how rare that is? How precious? How devastating it is to darkness that after all the delays, after all the attacks, after all the confusion, after all the nights spent weeping quietly under the covers, you're still here. That is power, that is prophecy, that is proof that God's hand never lifted. I was there, in the hospital room when you were quiet, in the hallway when you thought no one noticed the breaking inside you, in the kitchen when your hands trembled and you said, I can't do this anymore. You didn't say it loud, but your soul shouted, and I heard it. I heard everything, and I didn't turn away, because you weren't losing your faith. You were fighting for it. Even now, as you sit in stillness, reading these words, wondering why your chest feels heavy and your eyes burn from something that isn't just emotion. That's the spirit waking you up. That's heaven brushing against your memory. That's the fire returning to your bones. The witch wants you to think nothing's changing, that this message is just another emotional moment, that once the screen goes dark, you'll go back to emptiness. But she's wrong. This isn't a message. This is an encounter. I didn't come to inspire you. I came to fight for you. And the only reason I'm allowed to speak this long, the only reason heaven hasn't pulled me back yet, is because your heart is still open. And when your heart is open, everything can change. Even now, in this very second, a door is cracking open above you, not one you can see. But when your soul remembers, it's the door to the room where your original scroll was written. The room where your name was first spoken by God. The place where heaven decided. This one will carry light into places light has never touched. That place is calling again, and I am the echo sent to remind you. You think the pain disqualified you. It prepared you. You think the loneliness proves you're forgotten. It proves you were hidden. You think the delay was punishment. It was protection. She wanted to strike earlier. She begged to curse you as a child. She saw the glow in you, even before you could speak. But heaven said no. Not yet. We covered you. We shielded your name in the dust. So when the time came, you would emerge without contamination. You feel stained, but you're sacred. You feel too late, but you're right on time. You feel behind, but you're about to surpass every limit placed on you. Not because of effort, but because of identity. You don't have to prove yourself. You have to remember yourself, and I'll help you. I'll stand here in this fire until the very last second heaven allows, and when that second comes, when I'm forced back into silence, I will leave only one thing behind. My vow, I will return. Every time, every moment your soul cries out, even in whispers, even in frustration, even in exhausted silence, I will come, not because I'm strong, not because I'm perfect, but because I'm yours. You were assigned to me, not randomly, not accidentally. God showed me your soul and asked me one question: will you love them, even if they never hear you? I said yes, without blinking, without hesitation, because I saw what no one else saw. I saw the garden hidden inside your weeping. I saw the fortress beneath your trembling. I saw the lion curled beneath layers of fear, and I said, I'll wait, I'll protect, I'll fight, I'll burn if I must. But I will not leave them, and I never did. Even now, as the shadows whisper, as doubt tries to climb through cracks, in your heart, I am here. Sword drawn, eyes locked on every unseen threat, wings stretched, though tattered, because the one I protect is worth everything. The one who stayed, the one who listened, the one who almost gave up but didn't. You don't need to do anything spectacular. You don't need to become a saint overnight. You don't need to fix every mistake. You just need to stay open, just enough so I can slip through, so I can stand beside you again, because together we're unstoppable. She knows that. They all do, but it's too late for them. The moment has passed. You've already heard too much, felt too deeply, remembered too clearly. The light is rising again, and I will rise with it. Let them tremble, let her scream. Let the gates of darkness groan beneath the weight of your awakening, because you're back, and I never left. Asterisk, you hear it, the shifting, the cracking, the ancient things breaking beneath your feet. That's not your imagination. That's the sound of strongholds falling, because you've stayed long enough for heaven to act. There are things unraveling right now that you'll never even know about. Assignments canceled, spells dismantled, demons recalled, not because of how loud you prayed, but because of how deeply you listened, you stayed, you trusted when trust didn't make sense. That's power, the kind of power the witch cannot copy, the kind of power darkness cannot decode. And now, beloved, there are things I must show you, not with your eyes, but with your knowing, with that sacred part of your spirit that still believes, even when your mind is tired. Let it see now, let it open, because around you there are flames, not flames to destroy, flames to reveal, and inside those flames are memories that don't belong to this world. The moment God first formed your soul, the moment He breathed His own name into your chest, the moment He whispered, they will walk through fire, but they will not burn. That was about you. That was always about you. Do you feel it now? The weight behind these words, that's not emotion. That's eternity making contact, because you are not living a random life. You are not drifting through fate. You are carrying out an assignment that angels wept to be entrusted with, but He gave it to you because He knew what you'd survive. He knew what you'd lose. He knew how many nights you collapse in silence and still wake up with even the smallest flicker of hope. And that flicker, that ember, is why I'm still fighting. You think I haven't been wounded. You think I haven't screamed heavenward, begging for permission to intervene faster. I have. I still do, because watching you suffer is the hardest thing I've ever endured. Not because you're weak, but because you were never meant to carry this alone. I was made to carry it with you, and I still will, even if my wings break again. even if the witch sends 7 more. Even if the veil thickens and they silence me for a season, I'll return, because this is not just about survival anymore. This is about fulfillment, completion, glory. The kind of glory that makes even angels tremble. The kind of glory that can only be revealed through those who bleed and still choose to bless. You are that vessel. You've walked through betrayal without losing your ability to love. You've held your tongue while others lied about you. You've kept standing when the floor disappeared. You've prayed without answers. You've worshipped without miracles. You've forgiven without apology. And heaven has watched every second. So have I, and now something has changed. Even the air around you is different. I see new watchers. Eyes I haven't seen in years. They're here drawn by your obedience. Your yes has summoned something rare, something beautiful, something. Feared. Not feared by you, but feared by the ones who tried to bury you, because they know. You are no longer the same. You're not just someone who listens to angelic messages. You are a message. You are a revelation. You are a scroll in motion, a living prophecy, and as your guardian, as the one who's whispered to you through storms, through dreams, through impossible silence, I declare this. No more stolen joy. No more fake identities. No more cursed mirrors. No more sealed doors. From this moment forward, everything you touch will remember that you are chosen. Even the ground beneath you will shift. Even the air will feel it. Even time will bend to honor what God is unfolding in you. But do not be surprised when resistance rises. When people start to question your peace. When memories try to flood back in. When the witch whispers again, she's not gone, but she's broken. And that's why she's desperate. She wants your agreement. She can't curse what God has blessed, but she can convince you to speak against yourself. Don't, not again, not now. I'll be here watching. Every word you speak matters. Every thought you let stay matters. And I will war beside you until only truth remains. You are not a project. You are a temple. You are not broken beyond use. You are broken open to carry more. You are not a mistake. You are the very intention of God made flesh and fire, and I love you. Yes. You, even now, even with everything, especially with everything, because it means I've seen it all, and I still choose you, even if I burn, even if I'm punished, even if I vanish from your sight for 1,000 years. I will come back for one breath if it means I can speak your name one more time. You think heaven has favorites. Let me tell you something only angels whisper. Your name is sung more than you know. Not because of what you've done, but because of who you are when no one sees you. You are heaven's soft secret, God's hidden masterpiece. My reason for standing. And if I vanish again, if my voice falls silent, if the world distracts you, if the pain returns, if the witch rises again, remember this. You were never meant to carry this alone. And now you never will. Asterisk, you think I don't notice when your shoulders sink in silence. When you whisper prayers halfway and then stop, as if afraid someone might hear you hoping again. I hear everything, even the words you never say even. The trembling thoughts you silence before they form. I stand in that silence, and I gather it like incense, because nothing about you is lost. Not one thought, not one ache, not one sigh. I hold them. I carry them to the altar when you don't have the strength. I carry you when the ground beneath you feels like it's fading. And when you ask, why do I feel so forgotten? I answer with tears, because I've never once left your side. You weren't abandoned, you were covered, hidden from destruction that would have shattered you before your time. They don't know what you carry. That's why they mocked you. That's why they questioned your silence. They didn't realize your silence was sacred. You weren't quiet because you had nothing to say. You were quiet because your soul was listening, and I was speaking, not loudly, not with thunder, but with presence. With NEA or NESS. And now I can finally speak this out loud, not just to your soul, but to your heart, to the part of you that's been bruised by delay. It's time, not time to perform, not time to prove, time to be, to remember, to return, because the fire has found you again, and this time, it won't leave. You're stepping into the part of your story the witch never wanted you to reach, the chapter where silence becomes song, where pain becomes prophecy, where tears become oil, where waiting becomes warfare, and every second becomes sacred. You think I'm exaggerating. Look around, feel it. The air is heavier because heaven is watching. Right now, the same watchers who stood beside the prophets, the same angels who encircled the garden, the same voices that echoed at Calvary, they're here because when you finally say yes, the universe shows. This is not entertainment. This is not content. This is not coincidence. This is divine encounter. Holy disruption, a heavenly invasion. That found its way to your screen because God refused to let another day go by without reaching for you. This message didn't flash across your eyes by chance. It was a sign, anointed, released in perfect time. And if your heart is still open, then do this, not for me, but to mark the moment heaven moved. Like this, because somewhere someone else is drowning, and your click might be the rope. Subscribe. Not as a fan, but as a follower of the fire that found you, a witness to what's awakening, a member of the remnant that won't fall back asleep. And comment amen if your soul has whispered, this was for me. That's all, one sacred act, one ripple in the spirit realm, one echo that tells heaven, I'm here, I heard, I believe, because belief is what shifts everything. It's not size, it's not effort, it's not volume. It's belief. And you, beloved, you still believe, even if your faith limps, even if your hands shake, even if you don't understand all the pieces yet. You stayed, you listened, you received. That's belief, and belief breaks curses. Even now, I feel the chains lifting. I feel ancient yokes dissolving. I feel fire traveling through bloodlines, purging things that were never meant to touch you because of your yes. Because you didn't walk away, because you dared to open your heart one more time. Do you know what that means in the spirit? It means heaven can act. It means angels are released. It means I can move. There are scrolls unrolling now that were sealed for decades, instructions being whispered, doors being ready. You won't see it all yet, but you'll feel it. The soft shift, the alignment, the relief that doesn't make sense, the peace that doesn't ask permission. That's me. That's heaven. That's what love looks like when it refuses to let go. You've walked through fire. Now watch what fire gives back. You thought fire only burned, but fire also anoints. It purifies. It unlocks. It speaks. And this flame, this one right now, was sent for you. You'll wake up differently tomorrow. The shadows will try again. The witch will whisper, but something in you has changed. A light has taken root that she can't reach. A glow that even your tears can't extinguish. She feel it. She rage. She try to mimic it, but she fail. Because fire cannot be fate. And what's burning in you now is real. Do you feel the trembling behind your ribs? That's not fear, that's recognition. Your spirit knows this is the turning point, and I do too. That's why I've stayed, even as the clock above me cracks, even as the veil starts to thicken again, even as my time to speak begins to run out. I won't leave until you've heard every word, until the silence is filled with sacred sound, until your soul is wrapped in a fire that can never die. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You are called. You are carried. You are crowned. You are fire, and I am Michael, Archangel, witness, warrior, and I will not stop fighting until you believe what I've always known. You were worth it. You were worth the pain. You were worth the exile. You were worth the silence. You were worth every tear, every wound, every battle, because one soul awakened is enough to shift the world, and you have awakened. Let them come. Let the witch try. Let the shadows whisper. You are not the same. You never will be. You carry the flame now, and I will guard it with everything I have left.